Bill Gates said something that I didn't fully understand when I first heard it. He said, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 10. I'm gonna say that again. We overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 10. And a lot of men have this completely backwards. They're trying to compress like a decade of transformation into 12 months within 1 year, and then wonder why they feel like they're failing. And it's not that they're failing, it's just that they have the wrong time frame. And this video is about fixing that. Now, the problem, a lot of men, when they sit down to write their goals, like we think about all the things that we want to achieve in all areas of life and get in shape, get ripped, get jacked, build a business, scale it to a 50K a month, trade, become a trader that makes $30,000 a month, or fix my relationship, and all of these, develop a skill, learn sales, all of these things all at once. And sometimes it could work, right? It can work for some time and you feel like you're making progress, but eventually you get to a point where progress just turns to motion and you're not really making progress anymore. You're really just in motion. Because what happens then is that your energy splits, because you can't keep your energy completely focused on all of these things. Like the cup can't be full for all of these different buckets of your life. Your focus fractures, and then what ends up happening is that you have partial progress in all these different areas of your life. You're 30% here, you're 25% here, you're 30% here, 40% here. And this isn't a discipline problem. This is an architecture problem. This is a structural and foundation problem. Because what's happening is like you're trying to build the entire house at the same time. Like the foundation, the walls, the roof, the plumbing, the electrical. And nobody builds that way. Because when you're trying to build something great, there's a specific process that is required. And I'm speaking from a lived experience. This is something that I personally went through. At one point in my life, I was a trader. I was mastering trading. I was starting a business. I was an engineer. I had a full-time job. I was starting a community. I was running a book club. I was mastering sales. I was doing all of these different things all at once. And it's not like I was lazy. I was working. I was grinding every single day. But nothing was gaining real traction. Obviously, I made some money trading, of course. But nothing was gaining like real traction, right? Because my energy and my effort was split. And there was no plan. There was no sequence of events. And the shift happened when I finally built like my 5 to 10 year plan. And it really helped to reshape my whole outlook on my life. And what I realized is that none of these things were wrong. They all belong in the story. But here's what I came to understand is that like our life is a book. These goals, these different versions of ourselves, these are the different chapters in that book. And you don't read all the chapters at once. You read them in order. And the story only makes sense that way. So yes, all of these things that are a part of your life, yes, they're a part of that book, but they each have their own chapter. And this is why having that 5 to 10 year plan is so critical. And I want to come back to the quote. We overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 10. Now, here's the thing, like the brain is wired for urgency. The emotional brain operates on short time horizons, right? And wants results it can see and feel. 10 years feels abstract. 1 year feels real. 6 months feels more real. So we compress everything. Now, the problem is real mastery, real wealth, real transformation is not a 1-year project. This is things that take multi-years to construct, decade-long constructions. Great things take time. I'm sure we've all heard that before. Even Warren Buffett once said that you can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. Timing and sequence matter. Some things cannot be rushed. Okay. Now, the man who understands this stops fighting time and starts working with it. What this also does is when you have a 5 to 10 year timeline, you're less attached to the outcome because you're so focused on just putting in the work and building the habits and building the identity. Because you understand that sometimes it may take time, and that's okay. And when you're able to drop that attachment to the outcome, now you're more aligned with the universe because you're not fighting excess potential and importance, right? And if you don't know what I'm talking about basically the energy that's associated with being attached to an outcome. It hurts the manifestation process. Now, the 10-year plan is not like a list of goals. It's a sequence of different seasons and chapters of your life, each with a primary focus. Now, year 1 to 2 is laying the foundation. 1 skill, 1 income base. Go deep, not wide. Okay, get rooted. That could be sales. That could be trading. That could be real estate. That could be whatever it may be. It may be your career. Okay? 1 skill, 1 income base. Go deep, not wide. Years 3 to 4, layer on top. Now foundation is solid. Now add the second thing. Years 5 to 7 is when you compound. Now your skills are stacking. Income streams reinforce each other. Identity becomes coherent. Now the identity, clarity of the identity should be there from the beginning. But over the years of living in alignment and congruent with that identity, what then happens is that it becomes stronger. It becomes more deeply rooted and deeply programmed within the subconscious mind. Years 8 to 10, you arrive, right? Looks like overnight success from the outside, but you built it 1 chapter at a time. Now, for everybody, this may look different. Some people, you need to have this plan regardless, and sometimes it may happen quicker, okay? But you need to have this plan that's structured, that's chapter by chapter, that's season by season, so that you don't overwhelm yourself and you don't deplete yourself and you don't counteract progress by focusing on all of these different things at once, trying to read all of these different chapters at the same time. Bruce Lee didn't try to master everything at once. He focused on Wing Chun first, built the foundation, then synthesized and created Jeet Kune Do. Okay. Here's another example from my notes. Amazon and Bezos ran it as a bookstore for years before expanding, right? 1 category, mastered it, and then expanded the business as now is one of the biggest companies in the world. I believe first or second, the biggest employer in the United States behind Walmart. or it might be ahead of Walmart now. Now, in order to build this, you have to have clarity on what your vision is. Once you have clarity of your vision, then you can reverse engineer it and work backwards. If I'm here in 10 years, where am I at year 8? Where am I at year 7, year 5? Right? And now you could reverse engineer and see, okay, what skills do I need to build now and then next in order to fulfill this vision over time. And then when you reverse engineer that and you're back to year 1, now you have clarity on what you need to focus on for this next year, this next 12 months, what skill you need to master, what income producing asset or what income producing skill you need to focus on. Because again, we overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 10. So have this plan, build this roadmap out for yourself, and it's going to give you not only clarity, but it's going to reduce a lot of stress, pressure, and attachment to the outcome. Hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that this added value to you. If it did, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video. Appreciate you for tapping in. Much love, peace, and abundance.